A very happy new year to all of you. As we enter 2025, all eyes will be on the Indian subcontinent. How will India maintain its relations with its neighbors, as well as political development in Bangladesh and the Maldives? Also, how will Sri Lanka fare under the presidency of President Anura Dissanayake? All this under the regime of Donald Trump as US President for the second time, with concerns of climate change in the mix. We will be discussing all these topics over the next 12 months. Hello there, you are watching Inside South Asia with me, Dasuni Atauda, and let's get started. Our top story this week is about two friends now becoming foes. We are talking about Afghanistan and Pakistan. After airstrikes by Pakistan's fighter jets in Afghanistan, as well as clashes between the two militaries in the countries, the relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan have now hit a new low.
A few days ago in Paktika province, our women and children were bombed by Pakistan. We have gathered here today to raise our voices to the world. We demand that economic pressure be put on Pakistan to prevent such things from happening. There must also be a path to peace. Otherwise, the youth will not remain silent.
Last night, our forces gave them a strong response, and we stand by our forces. We want to say to them, you are not alone in facing the evil Pakistani military. The Afghan people are with you. They are behind you in words and in resources.
Protests in the capital of Afghanistan's Khost province days after the Taliban accused Pakistan of killing at least 51 people, mainly women and children, in airstrikes near its border in the southeastern province of Paktika. Following the attack, Islamabad said a Pakistani paramilitary soldier was killed and 7 others wounded in cross-border fire with Afghanistan's forces. Taliban officials said the 24 December airstrikes killed local residents and people who had fled the Pakistan border from the Waziristan region. Bordering Paktika, North Waziristan has historically been a militancy hub. It has been the target of a long-running Pakistani military offensive and US drone strikes during the post-9/11 occupation of Afghanistan that saw many people flee over the border. The militant outfit Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan claimed Pakistan had deliberately targeted refugee residences.
Generally speaking, we believe that our policy and our decisions are about maintaining good relations and engaging with our neighbors and the whole world. But such brutal attacks and bombings, invading anyone's territory, are not the way to solve anything, nor is there a solution, but it will make the situation more complicated and increase the ongoing problems.
The airstrikes hit 4 locations in several villages of the Barmal district of Paktika province, the same area that Pakistan targeted in March. Local residents recalled the harrowing moment.
It was 09:15 at night when the drones first appeared, followed by jets in the area. The drones identified the targets, and then the jets began bombing the houses. This is a fragment of a bomb that destroyed these homes. I wasn't home that night. I lost 15 members of my family in this house. My father, a brother, 3 nephews, 2 female nieces, my brother's wife, my mother, and 2 sisters. All gone.
The strike comes after the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, claimed a raid on an army outpost on the 21st of December near the Afghanistan border. Pakistan claimed 16 soldiers were killed in the attack. Tensions between the two countries have been escalating ever since the Taliban seized power in Afghanistan in 2021. Islamabad has accused Kabul's authorities of harboring militant fighters, allowing them to strike Pakistan with impunity, allegations the Taliban government denies.
We have had some incidents on the border with Afghanistan.
In August 2021, Pakistan Army said gunfire from across the Afghan border killed 2 Pakistani soldiers. This was the first such attack since the fall of Kabul. In 2022, Pakistan reported 5 soldiers were killed at a border post in firing from neighboring Afghanistan. Pakistani military conducted pre-dawn airstrikes on multiple targets in Afghanistan's Khost and Kunar provinces that killed at least 47 civilians. In March 2024, the Taliban accused Pakistan of carrying out 2 airstrikes, killing 5 women and children. Pakistan later confirmed its military carried out intelligence-based aerial strikes inside Afghanistan to punish terrorists. Pakistan-Afghanistan relations have been strained ever since the TTP's termination of a ceasefire with Pakistan in November 2022. In 2024 alone, the military has reported that 383 soldiers and 925 militants were killed in various clashes. Islamabad cites the spike in attacks as the reason for the souring of ties with Kabul. It also claims that its decision to evict hundreds of thousands of undocumented Afghan migrants last year stems from this. Both sides were reported to have agreed to a truce for now, but the renewed border violence reveals an underlying distrust that is threatening the stability of the entire region.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has unveiled a national strategy for economic development over the next 5 years in Pakistan. This has been titled Uraan Pakistan and will focus on sustainable development and macroeconomical stability via multiple policies. Take a look at this report for an in-depth analysis of this project.
What does Pakistan's new economic reform plan for the next 5 years entail? Uraan Pakistan aims at attaining a sustainable GDP growth rate of 6% by 2028, 1 million jobs annually, and $10 billion private investment per year. Radio Pakistan reported that Uraan Pakistan is built on pillars of 5 E's, entailing exports, e-Pakistan, environment, including food and water security, energy and infrastructure, as well as equity, ethics and empowerment. The new economic plan aims to turn Pakistan into a $1 trillion economy by 2035 and $3 trillion by 2047. Sharif said the private sector would be urged to participate in privatization and outsourcing to prevent massive losses. He said a political dialogue is the need of the hour for these initiatives. Sharif said, and I quote, "Today is a historic day as we commence the journey of Uraan Pakistan," unquote. He added that all stakeholders must collaborate for the program's development to succeed. The Prime Minister gave the people credit for weathering the economic storm and said the current stability is only the beginning. He promised to build on it. Sharif added that Pakistan was left alone on the world scene because the previous administration strained ties with friendly nations. He laid plans for economic changes and voiced his desire for Pakistan's present deal with the IMF to be its last one. The Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Through hard work, we can achieve success. Inflation has visibly decreased and the collaboration between the government and institutions continue to strengthen," unquote. To guarantee long-term development, Sharif emphasized the importance of lowering the price of inputs such as gas and electricity. The only way to strengthen Pakistan's economy, he added, is via export-led development. According to Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb, Uraan Pakistan is supported by a comprehensive implementation plan to achieve the export target of $60 billion by the fiscal year 2028. Aurangzeb said, and I quote, "Pakistan recorded a fiscal surplus for the first time in 24 years, reduced inflation from 38% to 5%, and improved the policy rate from 13% to 22%. The stock market is now the second best performing globally, and investor confidence, both local and foreign, has surged," unquote. Referring to Uraan Pakistan laying the groundwork for sustainable economic growth, he added that this is a turning point for the nation's economic stability. The Prime Minister highlighted that the coalition government had a hard time getting the economy under control during Pakistan's financial crisis of 2023. He said, and I quote, "When we were on the brink of default and striving for the IMF program, we decided to prioritize saving the state over politics," unquote.
Now let's focus our attention to yet another achievement from India, this time in the field of space. India's ISRO launched the SPADEX mission by the end of 2024, and in a few days we will get to see twin SPADEX satellites docking in space. What is this mission all about? Take a look at this report.
As 2024 came to an end, India soared high once again in space. The Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, launched its first space docking mission on an Indian-made rocket on the 30th December from Sriharikota.
That's a marvelous liftoff of PSLV C-60 SPADEX mission.
I'm really happy to announce the successful accomplishment of the launch of PSLV C-60 for the SPADEX mission. The rocket has placed the satellites in the right orbit, which is 475 km circular orbit.
Let's tell you why this mission is important. We all know about the International Space Station, or ISS, that orbits the Earth. Operated with a collaboration of 5 space agencies from the US, Russia, Europe, Japan and Canada, it primarily serves as a platform for conducting experiments and studying the space environment. But have you ever wondered how this massive orbiting lab was assembled? The space station is as long as a football field and as spacious as a 5-bedroom house. Obviously, it is not possible to launch such a gigantic object into space. The solution lies in docking. By launching multiple large components into space, it is possible to assemble them via docking autonomously. Docking is the process of mechanically attaching spacecraft that are circling in orbit. Docking has various applications, especially in performing missions to faraway celestial bodies and in performing astronaut missions. So far, the United States, Russia, China and Europe have mastered docking technology. Now, India is attempting docking because of its ambitions. By the end of this decade, India is looking to perform Chandrayaan-4, a mission to land a robotic craft on the moon and bring back samples. ISRO's SPADEX mission is the first step for India to set up its own space station. To accomplish all these missions, India must master docking technology. That's where SPADEX comes in. On 30th December, ISRO's workhorse PSLV rocket launched the twin SPADEX satellites, a target and a chaser, each weighing about 220 kilograms.
India is now embarking on its most challenging space mission yet. This is particularly the most challenging space mission in Earth orbit. So this will be a mission where 2 satellites will be hurled into space at a speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour. And after being hurled into space, these 2 satellites will actually, go on a trajectory where one chases the other. This is the most remarkable part of this mission, where over the next 10 days, these satellites will gradually chase each other. One will chase the other, and at that time they will gradually try to sync their velocities and direction of movement, and at that time one of these satellites will dock with the other, or one of these satellites will gradually attach itself to the other. Now you can see the PSLV majestically lifting off and the characteristic roar of the solid motors reverberating all around Sriharikota over here. So over the next 10 days, these 2 satellites will dock or perform what is known as a space handshake. Docking is a very fundamental step that is important for building a space station. Docking is also crucial for India's future missions such as Chandrayaan 4. In fact, this is a mission that is not just about docking. After docking, these satellites will spin around the Earth, as a unified entity. Thereafter, these satellites will also undock or separate, and then they will start imaging the Earth as 2 separate satellites.
Over the next few days, both satellites will grow apart by 20 kilometers. Once all their systems and sensors are tested, they will commence the process of growing closer to each other. From 20 kilometers to 10 kilometers, then 5 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers, and then 500 meters, ultimately leading to the docking of the 2 spacecraft. After successful docking and unification, electrical power transfer between the 2 satellites will be demonstrated. Docking is expected before the 10th of January.
Space docking is one of the most sophisticated acts to perform in space, and the Indian Space Research Organization will be doing it in less than a week. To tell us more about the complexity, we're joined by Shankaran sir, who is the director of ISRO's UR Rao Satellite Center. Kindly tell us, sir, how complicated this. The satellites are traveling at 28,000 kilometers per hour, and autonomously they'll have to dock.
Correct. It is like you would have seen in the movie Speed, how the 2 buses are going at 100 miles per hour together parallelly, and you have to put a bridge and transfer people. It is exactly like that, but only the speed is going to be at least another 2,000 times more. That is the difficulty in this work, but it is not impossible. People have already done it. We have developed our own technology, and I am sure that we will also be successful.
India has flexed its spacefaring missions in the last decade with its space programs. A SPADEX program can be a turning point for its future endeavors.
Up next, we take a look at an initiative that empowers female motorbike riders in Pakistan. Breaking stereotypes, these women are determined to carve new futures.
In a country where men have long dominated the roads, it is not often you spot a woman riding a motorbike. 8 years ago, the roads for gender equality in Pakistan were set open. On the 10th of January 2016, over 80 young women gathered in Lahore for a groundbreaking female motorbike rally. What started as a simple initiative by the Punjab Chief Minister's Special Monitoring Unit has evolved into a full-fledged movement known as Women on Wheels, or simply WOW. Aimed at increasing women's mobility and tackling street harassment, this program is changing how women navigate public spaces in Pakistan. Partnered with the Lahore Traffic Police, the initiative empowers women by providing them with motorbike training, fostering both independence and safety. For many women, it's not just about riding a motorbike. It's about claiming their right to independence and unlocking a new tier of freedom.
This program has brought positive changes in my family. My aunt heard about this program and she wants to join the next batch. I am the first girl in my family to learn this. Now, several women and girls in my neighborhood are saying they also want to learn this, riding a motorbike.
Young women are quick learners because they are enthusiastic and willing to take risks. If God forbid they have a mishap, such as a fall, they do not lose confidence. In contrast, older women tend to be more cautious and thus learn driving skills slowly compared to the younger trainees.
या नहीं होना वो बाद की बात है, वो पहले ही ये सोच के परेशान होते हैं, अगर मैं गिर गई तो क्या होगा?
While the WOW program has been running since 2016, it is gaining significant momentum as more women turn to motorbikes as an affordable alternative to expensive cars. In a country where the average GDP per capita is just under $1,600, the cost of a four-wheeled vehicle can be prohibitively high, often exceeding $8,000. In contrast, a basic two-wheeler can be purchased for as little as $413, making it an accessible option for many women. According to reports, the WOW program has already trained over 6,600 women, with each new batch growing in number and enthusiasm. The program has become increasingly popular, especially as the high cost of living makes motorcycles a more practical mode of transport. And it has several other perks too.
Learning to ride a motorbike has been a great convenience for me. Now, as one in charge of the household, I can drop my children off at school. In this context, I feel it is valuable to learn this skill.
The success of the WOW initiative in Lahore is just the beginning. As more women take to the streets, they are not only challenging traditional gender norms, but also inspiring future generations of women to claim their space in a world that too often tries to limit their opportunities.
We have all heard the tunes of the national instrument of Afghanistan. However, this UNESCO-listed instrument is now being stifled under the Taliban regime. As the new year dawned, more crackdowns were to be seen in the country regarding the playing of this instrument. Before we leave, take a listen to these wonderful tunes of the Rubab. For the WION team, I'm Dasunia Powder, and I will see you next week.